Good morning. Welcome back to my show. So if you've been following my channel, you know I was live streaming pretty late last night. So I have a little bit of a late start to today's live stream. Thank you for being here. And I just wanted to check out who's in the chat today. Aquarius, it looks like you're in it for both shows with me too. In Sirius, so nice to see you guys. Welcome, Rebecca Bruce, and I'm glad you like the music. It's Kodo Sans. It's a Japanese song, and if you look it up on YouTube, it's got millions of hits. It's lots of people have made music videos about it. It's really good. Heather, darling, I'm going to be talking about you this morning, as always. And Jeremiah, thank you for being at both live streams. Christy, I hope you're doing good today. Hope you're feeling good. And Jackie, I hope things are going good for you too. All right. Oh, Jeff, Jeff was live streaming until like 2 o'clock in the morning with me last night. So good for you, Jeff. I'm getting it. Oh, Twiz is here. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get right into, I mean, I don't want to make this another 3-hour live stream. So I'm going to try and like stay on point this morning. So we do have one thing that I want to address first off, because there's actually a few things last night that I did some fact checking on this morning that I wanted to share with you. But the first one was this question that came from the live chat. Somebody wanted to know, what was the first date that Ann Taylor visited the house? And I might as well just show you what the comment section said, because we did some fact checking on it this morning. And yeah, so I'll show you what I found. And my ear is like, I don't look weird. Bring up my channel. I just want to read you the comments because there was a debate about it. And so I heard the 6th, and then I was told the 4th, and then I got another comment saying that it was the 3rd. So we're just going to clear this up right now. Oh, great. Truth and Transparency is live. Well, clearly it's going to be a competition. Well, it's not a competition, but clearly we're not going to get as many viewers right now. All right. So I'm bringing up last night's. Hold on. All right. Let me share my screen with you. So last night, this was one of the questions that came up with Ann Taylor, and a few people chimed in on it in my comments. I'll just play the video while I'm reading the comments so it's not like dead.
Seen yet, Robert?
No, you haven't seen that one yet.
All right. Oh, I'm really interested in seeing it.
That's the first video I'm going to play.
Okay.
But I am happy to be back on my first live stream back.
Welcome back to YouTube, Robert. I want to pause and have you back. I'm thrilled. We'll leave it there. So down here, there's a couple things I thought were really interesting this morning. So I'm going to share this comment by Vivian that I read quite early on. So last night we were talking about, and I just like to fact check. Like when I talk about something on camera and I don't remember or I don't know what it is, I just try to go find the information. And one of the things that we talked about last night is experience of police officers and do they have a police academy? It really wasn't something I was talking about. It was something Robert was talking about. And Vivian left this comment that I thought was really insightful. So I just wanted to share it with you. It was just interesting. So she says, let me see if I can like zoom in a little on it. Whoa. She says, Payne went through, so we were talking about Brett Payne and his experience, because I'll put this in context for you. So the quote that we were talking about was he had made a quote that he relies on people who are smarter than him and who have more experience. And so it was kind of building off of that comment, like questioning what type of experience does he have? What kind of experience is at that police force? So Vivian gave us this answer, and Vivian is local. So she sometimes has some, she's heard, you know, when you're local, you should probably absorbed a lot of stuff around. Anyway, she says, I'm not talking very good this morning. I'm sorry. She says, Payne went through the police academy. It's called the Idaho POST, or Post Academy. It stands for Peace Officer Standard and Training. The academy is Meridian, and it is for a 14-week program all new officers must attend. So I just wanted to put that out there too. And we have a few new comments about this. Texas Ranger says, Vivian is really good. I feel like Vivian is like a paralegal or something. I should ask next time she comments on my channel. And then Angel D is here. Yay. She says she's not allowed in Discord. I'm trying to read the comments first before I display them because I have an issue of putting up controversial comments. All right, so we're not. Who's true? Says the guy who's blocked. I'm just joking, Jeff. All right, so let's move on to what I was telling you about. So we were talking about when did Ann Taylor first visit the house. So this was a highly debated thing last night, but I want to show you this before we. Let me stop sharing my screen. Well, actually, in these comments, Vivian made one about that. Let me pull it down. Right here, Vivian says, Ann Taylor didn't visit the house until she was assigned the case. She first went to the house on January 4th, 2023. And that just like, I needed to dig further after I heard that because I'd heard 3 different dates and then I had the date that came off. So what I found was Heather sent me this. And if you don't, I'll put up a banner so you can visit Heather's channel. She's one of my mods and one of my fact checkers. So she has a lot of new content, and basically it's smaller, shorter videos. So it's like good, easy, like to watch short videos. This is the place to go for Idaho4, and she's really producing content weekly. So that's her handle. But she gave me this picture, or screenshot, I should say, when we were talking. Oh, that's not it. Where is it? Oh, my computer's saying it won't upload. I got to erase a picture. I'll erase that one. Can you guys hear the seagulls? They're like really active outside my window. I don't know what's going on. I wonder if you can hear that on camera. Okay, so let me take down that. So this says, this is from foxnews.com, and it says, whether or not the building is still standing, people will still come to see the scene in person, he told Fox News Digital, calling the decisions to demolish a terrible idea. And I'm reading you that because I have the actual article too, but I'm not going to pull the whole thing up and read it. I just want you to know I have the receipt to where this screenshot came from. And then down here in bold, it says, defense attorney Ann Taylor gestures at the front door during a visit to the King Road crime scene on January 3rd, 2023. The house was the scene of a quadruple homicide in November last year, and the victims all being students of University of Idaho. So I just thought that was helpful to people who are trying to get the information that I actually had a receipt for you. All right. So there are so many directions I could have gone with this live stream today. And I decided to take it back to the Stingrays because I've built on what I've learned about the Stingrays since I've done those several videos. And I just wanted to update and share with you just a couple little things. Probably some misconceptions too that we had about their use in the law. I'm going to display that to us. Vivian, I do appreciate you spending so much time in the comment section. It's really great to read your comments and hear what you say. Please be nice to Twiz. If you can find it in your heart. What? She was talking about you in one of her comments. She was talking about Twiz. Oh, Vivian, please be nice to Twiz. He's one of my fact checkers. Jeff says, I just saw an article from Columbia that says Ann Taylor, who has held her office since, I don't know why I'm reading it there, who has held her office since 2017, was assigned to the Kohberger case after his arrest in December of 2022. That's good to know. Yeah, I think the question, I might have not articulated the question that well. The question was, what day did she visit the crime scene first? But if that article might state if she went out to preserve things or look at the crime scene before Bryan was her client. Wait, hold on a second. So Daniel ain't doing a good job keeping his guest panel secret. They're all announcing it all over YouTube. Who am I with? Can you guys type in the chat? I want to know who. By the way, I didn't announce it, Daniel. It says, for those listening who can't read the comments, it says, Twizzle stick, you filthy prober. I think she meant to say pro burger, but I don't know. She was there on the property early. I did say that I vaguely remembered her being involved. I couldn't remember if it was before she knew if Bryan was her client or she knew of Bryan. It was one or the other. But Jackie, if you have anything on that, please email it to me or comment below where I could find more information. It's not that it means anything or we think it's a clue. It's like we want correct information when we're reporting, and it's very Wait, who are we talking about? Don't say Vivian. Wait, she get Ember. Who are we talking about? I like it. It's easy to be nice to Twiz. Twiz is nice right back all the time. Jeff, you blocked Angel D? I thought she was your second favorite mod. What the heck? Twiz is your bestie? Okay, let me move. Filthy Proberg. This call. All right, so I'm going to move on to my Stingray presentation. So these are updates and different things I've learned about the Stingray since I've had those initial few videos. And I haven't learned a lot, but I really feel like the couple of little things I'm going to show you are going to give a better understanding of what we've talked about. They're just filling in a little blanks. But for those who don't know what a Stingray is, we're going to take that down. We're going to introduce you to the whole concept. And it's not a long segment. Like I said, I don't want to stream for 3 hours today. But we're going to talk about the actual definition of Stingray. And we're going to bring up some comments because people commented a lot of really good questions about this. And we got some answers. And then I have this soundbite, and Mikey, if you're watching, I have to say, I don't know how I forgot about this, but Mikey sent me this soundbite on Stingrays a long time ago. It must have been like a month ago. Mikey's one of my mods for those who aren't from my channel. And it's so good because it just explains everything about a Stingray in easy English that anyone can understand. And I thought I'd open with that clip, and then we're going to read a couple of things in Wikipedia, and then I'm going to go to the comments and we're going to just answer a couple of things. So I'll start talking. So if you see Mikey in the chat this morning or in the comment section with the replay crew, tell him thank you for giving my channel such great content. I appreciate it. Oh, hold on. I'm about to dox myself. I failed to send it to myself, so I'm sending it to myself right now from Discord. Hold on. It's worth the wait, you guys. And once we start going with this segment, it'll go really fast. I just have to now scroll through 100 messages. I'm just joking. It'll only take a second. Once I find it. Oh, wait. I had some stuff about the I had some stuff when I was looking through my old notes about Frank's hearings and like the whole Brady Giglio thing, and I'm actually thinking that maybe that would be share link. I'm actually thinking that would be a really great segment in our next upcoming live stream. Did somebody put in here who else is going to be on panel with me tonight? I'd really like to know. I'd love to know who you're talking about. Okay, so Jeff says he sees an article from Fox News December 15th, 2023 with Ann Taylor at the house. Jeff, email it to me, please. I'm not telling you what to do, but please email it to me and we'll full circle make this segment. Let me pull up that clip on the Stingrays that we're going to look at. What the heck? I don't know what's going on. I feel like these are going into folders or something. Did I not? Oh, I didn't send it. I'm checking my email too to see if Jeff has sent that to me yet. All right, here we go. So I'll take that down. Hey, American Princess. I didn't say I was going to be on DTS. I said I was a secret guest somewhere. Oh, I see Mikey. Mike, good to see you. But her dog wants to be out getting that. That's true. That is true. Oh, Jeff H., I'm unsure where your list of fave mods falls these days. I appear to lose footing each time. Sunny, Steelers, Heather, Kelly D. Oops, not Kelly D. Some of these comments are very controversial. All right. What? Funky earring? Oh, I thought you were going to say my ear was funky because this thing is like making my ears stick out. That's why I keep trying to go like that. I love this comment. Angel D says, Daniel enjoys refusing to tell me anything. Okay. All right, let's get into this clip from Mikey. the other monkey. Maybe they're all the same Mikey, who knows?
Whether you're here, or at one of these, it doesn't matter. This can find you. The common name, Stingray, technically a cell site simulator. First developed for military use, it's made its way into local law enforcement. It can track a person down to the room they're in if they have their cell phone on them. Stingrays turn these into homing devices, and that's just the beginning.
These are tracking devices. This is emitting a signal. This is GPS.
Mike Mino with the North Carolina branch of the ACLU has been watching the spread of Stingrays for years.
It's my understanding that the software that a lot of these devices use is capable of capturing things like your text messages, the numbers you're calling and receiving calls from. We know for sure they're getting people's location.
Here's how it works. Cell phones are always trying to connect to nearby cell towers. A Stingray acts like a cell tower decoy. In what's called a man-in-the-middle attack, it tricks cell phones into thinking it's the nearest cell tower, phones connect to the Stingray, and police can access a range of personal information. But they don't just get intel on one phone. Every phone nearby is forced to divert to the Stingray. Calls are passed on to a real cell tower.
Hold on, I'm going to stop the live
up,
stream.
Stays with
Is Willie on panel with Daniel tonight? Is that what you're telling me? I want to know. I want to know who's on panel tonight. All right, let's continue.
with police.
When you ask them why they're using it, they'll say, well, we're targeting certain individuals. But the nature of the technology is so expansive that you cannot use this without countless innocent people having their data captured as well.
The I-Team has learned at least 3 law enforcement agencies in the Triangle have been using cell site simulators, but they don't like to talk about it and may not be allowed to. These 2 purchase orders show Raleigh and Durham police bought variations of the Stingray within the last 10 years. Raleigh's purchase order, obtained by the I-Team 2 years.
I'm going to stop and I'm going to address this comment by Fitzgerald real quick, or Fitpotamus, I think we're calling her now. So Heather says Stingrays / Stingray, same difference. And so that just reminded me of something I wanted to say really quickly. Cy, if you're watching, I just appreciate the correspondence we had the other day and you helping me with my information. So Cy and Carrie, if either of you are watching, we love your channel. I don't know if my mods could drop a link to Socialite Crime Club in the live chat, but they're awesome. And Cy is a really cool guy. And I just want to thank them both for taking the time to answer my questions this weekend. So thank you. I just wanted to pause because of that.
Years ago shows the department paid more than $120,000 for the device. Separate documents obtained by the ACLU showed Durham spent nearly twice that. In spite of those purchase orders, both departments claimed not to be using one. When the I-Team asked recently, Raleigh says they stopped using theirs because of outdated technology. With the Stingray, though, secrecy is part of the deal. Durham's contract with the device's manufacturer includes a strict non-disclosure clause, not just about the Stingray, but about the agreement itself and its subject matter.
There is such secrecy around this, and I think it's because it's so powerful.
I have a cell site simulator, and we do use it.
Wake Sheriff Donnie Harrison is the only current law enforcement officer we could find here or elsewhere willing to talk even a little about the device and how it's used.
It's a very useful tool that we use, not only for the bad guys, but for looking people that are lost, looking people that say they're going to commit suicide. Sometimes we have used them for children that's missing that have phones. And basically, that's all about all I'm going to say about it.
Harrison told us Wake County has had a cell site simulator since 2008.
So Texas Ranger, you know I'm a Yankee, right? I mean, I'm just pointing that out. Like, we'll keep going.
He insists they're always within the law and always get a warrant first, but there's very little public documentation of those warrants or of the use of stingrays in general here or in any of the cities in which we looked.
But no, we don't like to talk about it. You know, when a general goes in battle, he doesn't give out his battle plans.
It's the classic question, safety or privacy? Law enforcement will tell you these things get bad.
Well, I'm just going to say, Big Mikey, the secret is they're not real gold, believe it or not. You know, I'm not wearing $2,000 earrings. So they're actually pretty light. They're laser cut. That's what helps.
Bad guys off the street and
Thank you
help
for the
good
question,
people out in the
Big Mike.
meantime. Critics say we just don't know, and we don't, by design.
As long as we do it lawfully, I don't care what people say. My job is to keep people safe.
The public needs to know more. I think this is something that the courts need to know more about. There are real questions about whether a technology that soaks up innocent people's data can be used constitutionally.
Big Mike says, I thought the same thing. Apparently, actually, you know what? I think it's very common for people named Mike to be fans of the Cowboys. That was the dumbest thing I've ever said. Sorry. All right, let's get into some. Let's get back to business here. Don't forget, Swamp has super chats and memberships going on. That is not true. I forgot to turn on the monetization. Let me do that real quick. Thank you for reminding me, Christy. I cannot be YouTubing for free. My husband will not allow it. Okay, here we go. Oh, Joey, thank you for being here. Happy Friday to you, too. I hope everyone has a good week. Oh, Angel D, I'm not going to display your comment, but thank you. That's so flattering. Oh, I don't know. Maybe, my house looks clean. Thank you. Oh, Christy, thank you for the blessing. You didn't have to do that. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I love my mods. Thank you to my mods. Oh, put the link up, Christy. Oh, I was just thinking that Jackie was saying put a link to Christy's channel. I do want to just take a quick moment to plug Christy's channel before I pull up the rest of the Stingray info. Christy, although I only cover the Idaho4 here, when there was breaking news about the assassination attempt, I did cover that. And Christy happens to live in the vicinity of that tragedy. And so Christy has been doing some field reporting out there, and it sounds like Trump is going to return to that area, and Christy should be doing some live coverage when that happens. So if you're interested in something like that, not to change the subject, please go over to Christy's channel and subscribe. And her link is in the chat. Thank you, Angel D. Oh yeah, the PayPal app. The link is in the description of my channel, but I'm not trying to e-beg here. I'm just saying if anyone like really wants to give me money. Oh, we're happy to have you live too. Isn't it nice to get it live when you can interact and everything? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the comments about the Stingray, and then I'll correct we'll solidify what we learn with Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is pretty thorough. And I did see there was some misinformation about the Stingrays being commented. And so I just thought we'd do our best to get the most updated information. All right. So the next thing I'm going to show you, well, I'm not going to show you, but I'm pulling, if you're interested in reading these comments or knowing more about this, I did an interview with a YouTuber named, I'm going to put a banner up, Michael Adario Photography. And Michael came on and he came up with an entire theory on stingrays, and it has to do with when he visited Moscow to take aerial photographs of the crime scene and just as a photographer document some of this stuff. He is an advocate for victims. So he went to Moscow so that he could document these things. And while he was there, he was struck by some of the things he saw. He didn't know what to make of them. And through a lot of research, he started posing this theory. He made an entire series of videos on it. It's called Blow Up Moscow 11/13/22. And I didn't, of course, put his channel handle up. Hold on. I just want to tell you so you can go visit once you see what we're looking at. He really has the most thorough parallel crime theory I've seen involving stingrays. So if you go there, he has a playlist right on his homepage. And you can watch all 4 of his videos. They're great. He puts them to really good music, so they're easy to watch. So let me present. If you, let's see, make sure my screen is sharing. Okay. So let's pull the comments up here. All right, I'm going to read this by Matt Josh. I wasn't going to read this one because the debate is like down here, but this is a good comment. And Matt Josh is going to be on my show Saturday, I think. Next Saturday, sorry. And his channel handle is Homeland USA. And it says, hold on, make sure that's showing. Okay. And then we'll move down to the questions about the stingray because people started fighting in the comments. It says, thank you so much for, oh, that's me. Hold on. He says, I'm thrilled you're talking about the cell site simulator because Ray mentioning of it opened up a Pandora's box of possibilities. Maybe we whipped out this high-tech gizmo during the crime chaos. Remember, the Gonzalez family filed a tort claim early on, something you do when you think the city might be responsible for your loved one's death. So I can't help but wonder, was law enforcement already stalking out the Moscow house for some reason when the crime went down right under their noses? I just want to bring this up because it was kind of my point to Michael Adario when he was doing this on my channel, which was we remember in March of 2023, the Gonzalez families they had to do it because of the structure, the time frame. They had to fall within the statute of limitations to file for this case. So they had to do it in a certain time frame. So don't take that date necessarily as something went amiss in March of 2023. But regardless, from what I understand, I read an article on it here, they preserved their right to file a lawsuit against the city or the university. And when it comes to the city, that technically is the police department. The police department is paid for by the city. It's paid for by our tax dollars. That is if and when they find that there was any mistakes or misconduct by the police. So they did reserve that right to have lawsuit. And I just wonder, we don't know who that confidential informant is. We assume they're referencing the IGG, but we don't know that because a stingray, the thing that it has in common is in court paperwork, it reads as a confidential informant because you sign an NDA with the company that sells them. So you can't say what you have. So let's read on it. Okay, so he said, and get this, while the house is being prepped for demolition, there are all these mysterious cable wires being fixed in the area. Sounds fishy, right? Maybe they were trying to cover up the use of a cell site simulator. Since Ray created this tool, and I did not know that Ray created stingrays. Since Ray created this tool, he definitely know who was using it. Why drop that bombshell unless they knew something? And seriously, why bring up the high-tech Lamborghini of surveillance tools if they were laser focused on Bryan? Feels like overkill unless there's more to this surveillance story. This honestly is what I believe really happened. And on this one, I want to bring up, and he said during the demolition, but I don't know 100% what he's referencing, but what I will say is if he's talking about this, I totally agree. So this photograph was taken by Michael Addario when he went to Moscow. And what happened was we all kind of remember that iconic, when it comes to the Idaho4, and if you follow this case, there's one photo that came out early on when we knew nothing that started some speculation. And it was, we saw sneakers on the power lines. Sneakers signify different things. We're not going to get into it right now, but one of the things they can signify is that there is distribution going on in the house. And so it was odd and out of place because if you look at the neighborhood, it's a quaint neighborhood. It's a suburban neighborhood. It has nicely kept houses. They don't have junk outside of them. The streets don't have litter. There isn't graffiti everywhere. So my point is this: why would they have trash on the power lines if it wasn't there new? You know what I mean? Like if those sneakers likely hadn't been up for months, they likely were put there just then. Or I don't know, but it is weird to see sneakers on the power lines in Moscow, Idaho. And so Michael Addario went to the scene and he decided he was going to take photographs of those sneakers because he heard a article online suggesting that they were taking down the power lines and tightening them. He has since gone back because he's very thorough and he wanted to get that information for you. So he since went back to try and retrieve that article. As far as he can tell, it sounds like it's been scrubbed off the internet, but I digress. So he wanted to go get this photograph and he went to the power line. This is the actual power line where it was hanging, and all the power lines have been pulled back. And you can see he's put these little circles here of where they were pulled back and tied off. And it's just really interesting. This is where it was. If you look at a lot of different things at the crime scene, so here we go. This is the actual power lines. You've got the sneakers up there. This one was, this high resolution shot was from Michael Addario. I don't know where it comes from. And then Mikey grabbed these off of Google Earth for me. And this is the actual, these are the actual sneakers. You can see the Queen Road right there when I zoom out. And not trying to jump around all over the place if you're new to this subject, but what really started the debate was after that on Google Earth, this is what people were finding. They were finding areas of the neighborhood that were all were all censored on Google Earth. They were blanked out like this. Now, some of you might think, oh, okay, well, that's a privacy thing. Somebody wanted to, blur out their house or blur out their whatever, their car or something like that. But this is different. These places that are censored are like trees and telephone poles and posts. There is one on the side of a building that, but it's just unusual. So I asked Michael Addario when he did this, I said, did you, I lost my train of thought. I looked up and I saw 84 comments and then I lost my train of thought. Sorry, it'll come to me. Okay, they're talking about something else. I just wanted to see if you guys were talking about stingrays in the chat. Okay, so I remember what I was going to say. I asked Michael Addario, I said, in your experience, because he's a visual artist and he creates a lot of these videos, I said, in your experience with using Google Earth, have you ever seen so many censored places in a concentrated area, such as in the King Road neighborhood? And he said he had not seen anything like that. It was very unusual is the way he put it. What's also interesting, see if I can get a good picture of this up here, is I'm actually probably going to have to show you on the video. What's also interesting is, see if I can get a good shot of this. When you look at an aerial map of where the power lines were actually blanked out, I've got one right here. No, I can't find it. Anyway, if you look at the aerial map, what's interesting is the lines are, they all are in straight lines. It looks so manufactured. It didn't look like something that naturally happened or just chaotically putting things up. It really did look like it was in a planned grid. But with that said, let's look at the comments on this video, and then we're going to go to Wikipedia. Oh yeah, there was more to Matt Josh's comment. If you check out who is hanging around the King Road home during the crime, it was the Moscow police, dressed up like they were auditioning for a terrible undercover show. Their big plan? Pretend to be on the lookout for underage drinkers. Seriously, this case is so bizarre. And so that was the last point I wanted to bring up in this comment. Was somebody brought up to me a while ago that I thought was so interesting. Let me take down this banner. And I don't know the answer to this question, so maybe somebody in the live chat will know. But they were asking me, why were the police at the Banfield anyway? And I guess I always just assumed it was one of those nights they were doing a dragnet to catch underage drinkers. But we don't know that. And so I just wonder, was, you know, people have asked, was there some sort of call that brought the police there? Why were they there that night? Let's go down the comments. I don't know why I'm bringing that up if I don't know the answer. All right, here we go. I'm pretty sure this one. Yeah, this is it. Okay. I'm just going to hit up the comment section first. Okay, so just before I go on, Cyber Ninja says, since 2016, they have been using plainclothes officers to do underage drinking. That is good information. Thank you so much, Cyber Ninja. And then Rebecca Bruce says, Jeff H, yes, you just need to request Google Maps to blur out your home. Absolutely. It is not an unusual thing to have something blurred out. What's unusual is an entire cluster of houses owned by different people in different residences. Why would all of them in these smaller rental houses request to have their houses blurred out? And who requested to have trees blurred out? And who requested to have power, what do you call them? Power poles, telephone poles blurred out? Who requested to have, you know, transformers allegedly blurred out? That's what we're asking. So it's not unusual to have someone call up and have something blurred from Google Maps. It's totally fine. But to have so many, so concentrated in almost a mechanical pattern, it's weird. Weird. And then she says, it's not uncommon. What's not uncommon in college campuses to have telephones and trees blurred out? I might be missing something. Toes says, Toes, you changed your profile picture again. Toes is trying to find the best Superman picture he can. Actually, the big question would be, why were the police conducting business in an apartment complex parking lot? I don't know what you're referencing, but drop it in the chat. And then Cyber Ninja says, I heard cameras are blurred, houses that have protective custody. I'm sure they probably do that. So I heard cameras are blurred, houses that have protective custody. So you're saying it's surveillance cameras that you think were blurred on the sides of the houses? I mean, that would make sense. I don't know if they're in protective custody, but having a surveillance camera blurred out, that kind of gives the bad guys a heads up on what's going on at your house. He won't get me neck chain. What the heck? Heather says, y'all know Ellie that night told them kids that MPD was assigned the hybrid cars to save money on fuel, but there's not a single car purchase of a hybrid in the financials. That is really interesting, Heather. I'm writing this one down. No financials undercover car. Because I don't have time to go back and watch my live streams afterwards. Yeah, we know what you meant. And then Cyber Ninja says they were sitting in a high traffic place in an undercover car. Toes says the Bamfield video starts off in the Taylor Road apartments. Okay. Oh, okay. And then we see them walk down and then see the runners. That's Texas Ranger says we used to have the liquor control board after us. I remember when I was younger and used to care about that. Like, I remember we would hear about certain, they had to post it in our state, but they would have mandatory checks. So like they'd have major highways, they'd stop everyone and check them. I guess that's kind of liquor control. I don't know. Don't listen to me. I know. I say the quiet part out loud all the time, Angel. I don't know. You guys are talking about housewives in here. And then Rebecca Bruce says, no, it is not common for plainclothes officers to on campuses to look for underage drinkers. I'm giving that a star. So remember. Jeff says, using your mouse, adjust the view of the image so that your home and anything else you want to blur is all contained within the red and black box. Oh, you're telling people how to do it. Use your cursor to move around. See an article. Thank you. Too much government. OMG. Let us live. I'll give it a star, Mikey. Mike. I got to get all the Mike straight. And Mike, there's Mikey. There's Big Mikey. There's Michael. There's Michael Adario. I've always been surrounded by Mikes my whole life. What are you talking together? Whoops. University also has millions of dollars contracted with Moscow police. So they probably have some sort of good point, Cyber Ninja. These are contracts. They probably have standard procedures. They probably, if it was something planned, we would know. And if somebody went to U of I, they would know the pattern too. If that was unusual, I think we might have heard if it was an unusual night that it might play a role in the crime. If it was like a one-off thing, I do not know. Rebecca says, that's what I was referring to. Sorry, I'm learning here and I am commenting to too many topics. Oh, you're fine. That's fine. Here's the thing, Rebecca, is like when I first followed the case, I felt like everybody knew more than me. And I started my podcast and then at a certain point, I realized during like certain headlines or certain big events in the Idaho4, all of a sudden we'd get like a new viewership of people. And the questions were always back to things that we had already covered and we thought were settled. But the thing is when you first start looking at this case, what stands out to you are the oddities. And so we welcome all questions because we know there are people here who just started following this case or there's such a huge volume of material involved in this. We know that there's no way, unless you do this for a job, you have time to study all these things. So we welcome the questions. There are no stupid questions. Please put them in the chat. Beer cup. Okay. Heather repeats to Twiz, there is no record of anything to do with a hybrid. Mike O'Donnell says, the beer cops, keeping the campus safe. Also look at the car. I know I thought it was a BMW. Oops, I mean this one. back to this one, Jeff. I knew you were going to ask this. People are the 4 people running past the Banfield cops through. Wait, why are the 4 people running past the Banfield cops through the light, not thought to be coming from not thought to be coming from Taylor Road Apartments? Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, great comment. I don't know what the conversation between you and Jeff is, and I'm sorry I missed it. The mod presence is here. Oh, we've got another housewife. Hey, girl. We would peel the emblems off of root beer bottles and try to fool them. The kid on the BWC told the officer, "I thought you were a fake person," when they asked why they didn't stop. Wouldn't it be something to interview that kid and ask what he meant by that? Where have wine coolers gone? Rebecca, I think I have the best mods on YouTube. You don't even know the things they do behind the scenes to help put the show together. It's wonderful. Just posted the CNET article explaining how to blur the house with gold. Did you post that on your channel, Jeff? Drop it in the chat so we can. Jeff's channel. Jeff has great footage. He's got a lot of raw footage of Linda Lane, Banfield, all those places. Let me put a banner up for Jeff real quick. Wherever it is. I think you're at the top, Jeff, because you've been coming on my show a long time. That was so sus, in my opinion, says Angel D. They're obviously drunk. How much have you had to drink? Boys, none. Alleged cops, maybe 3, 4, 20. You look drunk. Boys, yeah, okay. Fine. Hundreds of dollars, in my opinion, allegedly. I know, and they all got $500 fines. But what makes me like a little bit wanting to ask more questions about your comment is that like, why did they stop the runners towards the Banfield and not stop the runners from the King Road house to the fraternity? Like, if you're indiscriminately handing out $500 fines, why are you avoiding the frat boys? You know, just curious. Like, what? Why get the Banfield boys but not go after the frat boys? Just wondering. If they were frat boys, we don't know that. But you always think socioeconomically when you hear focus on one thing and not focus on another. If it's not the same equal distribution of punishment. Those kids were totally unaware as if this was not a standard practice. That is a good point, Rhode Island housewife. Thank you. So if it was standard practice, if like I was talking about when they would announce and they'd have people doing like alcohol stops, it was in the paper or whatever, but we knew about it. It wasn't like it was out of the realm of possibility. But what she's saying is if those kids were running, they had no idea. It doesn't sound like something that was often happening at campus, or they could have actually been drunk and didn't want to get tickets. Heather says, one of the boys literally told the cop, I thought you were a fake person, when asked why he didn't. Twiz says, you cannot look at somebody and decide they're underage, probably why they were all dropped. Also, then they asked, is that your car? As if the kid's never seen the car or a civilian looking car ever. So again, another really good point. If this was a regular thing, they would have known about that undercover car. I mean, I'm sorry, but when I was that age, I knew all about the cop cars. Like I knew in certain towns, like how many police were out. And I'm not gonna stop talking now, but the point is I agree. Oh, you timed somebody out by accident. Okay, whoever got timed out, we're awfully sorry. She dropped her phone. Paco says, Moscow definitely hiding something. Oh, you timed out Texas Ranger? Poor guy. Oh, he's back. Good. I don't know. I don't know what he said to Angel D. American Princess says, my question is, why did Ellie state that DM was on the first floor, but when the PCA came out, she was on the second floor? I would have to look at the wording of how they said she was on the second floor. That's number one, because the wording in the PCA alludes to her being on the first floor. So when she says, they say where she was originally, it implies that's not where she ended up. It didn't exactly say that, though. That's what we're surmising from the wording. But I'm curious where you say Ellie states that DM was on the first floor, but when the PCA came out, she was on the second floor. Was it in a press release that they said DM was on the first floor? I don't recall. I do recall hearing it from different outlets, but not news outlets. But Dylan being on the first floor was really something that we explored when we were studying the verbiage of the PCA. Because we still don't know where she ends up. We can only assume or guess. Rosie saw them running, but didn't call them to stop. Why? Interesting question. Oh, it says we can't untime him. Oh, okay. So you had to sit the whole time out. I'm not a genius. Big Mikey says, the steps/walk besides Taylor Apartments leads up to the front door of 1122. I'm going to star that because I want to look on Google Maps. And I'm sure you guys would pull it up faster than me, but. Well, I mean, I know that. I don't really need to look it up. I think Bryan Enton spent enough time demonstrating to us from Taylor Ave, how close Taylor Ave is to that 1122. And like Big Mikey says, it is a straight line. Oh, I'm not taking your wrench away. Angel D, I'm part of the cool kids having you as a mod. Okay, so Jeff says he posted CNET article. And, oh, we already read this. I'm way behind on comments. My butt. Jeff says, Banfield cops can't ticket everyone. Maybe those runners on the way prove that they were sober by the fact that they could run. Well, that's a good theory, Jeff. I know. Do students study that? Do kids go to school anymore? Texas Ranger says, I think they came out of one of the apartments and the others were just out in the field drinking. Let's see. Nietzsche says, to distract the boys from being able to witness any other person around the area, maybe. And then weirdly, all of those charges were dropped. The only thing I would only thing I would add is it could be a sensitivity chip for the city. Like, these kids just had 3 of their peers, unalived. Like, maybe, and it happened that night. It happened hours before that. Maybe they just decided to drop the charges in lieu of such, tragic events. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera. The Greeks don't want no freaks. Jack Johnson says, a low-budget slasher film years ago, Amanda Kohberger, sister of Bryan Kohberger, starred as Lori in the 2011 horror film 2 Days Back. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that makes this case so extraordinary, are all these little twists. And one of them, yes, is Bryan's sister was an actress, and she starred in a slasher film. There is another film called The Killing of the Clones that is an interesting subject we want to bring up sometime. And it does have a connection to the name Kohberger. How many times is image discovery? Or at least put sanctions and remove the death penalty? Yeah, and Heather says, Killing of the Clones, Feather Tat, an actress far more sus than BK's sis. I think it's just sus the way they presented that after the tragic events. But I don't know enough on it to talk on it right now. Okay, so Cyber Ninja says, PCA says second floor. State in the beginning said first. But where did they say that? Was it in a presser? And then the PCA does say second floor, but then they alluded to she maybe didn't end up in the morning in the second floor. In my opinion, not like I actually know, obviously. Everything that they told us was changed after the PCA. It must have been a news conference. You guys heard that, because Heather is validating it too, and I heard 2 other comments in the chat, or saw 2 other comments in the chat. Well, Steve G. Jr. said the survivors were on the ground floor, allegedly. Did he say that on social media? Where did he say that, Angel D? If you could just drop it in the chat, darling. Twizzlestick, an absolute mastermind and manipulative genius, in my opinion. Mikey O'Donnell says, I used to have coffee with Courtney Cox and Mila Kunis. Dropping names in the chat. They had us looking for a car when the acts were done by people walking. Cover up. In Cyber Ninja's opinion. And that reminds me, let me put a banner up just to remind all of you that everything we say on this channel is speculation and opinion, and the defendant is innocent until proven guilty, and all allegations are alleged. That wasn't the one I wanted to put up. This one right here. All commentary is speculation, opinion, and reaction. Jack Johnson says, BK family, our daughter is a movie star. Oh, gosh. I need to read these comments more. Joey, I would discuss your comment a little bit more, but I have to be very careful And you could, if you rewrote it without including the first and last name, because she is not involved in the case. So we can't fully explore speculating on it with a first and last name. That's my dog snoring, if anyone's wondering. Toast says, I wonder why my comments aren't showing up. I don't know why we're having so much problems in the comments. Last night, I couldn't even see all my comments. I had people showing up in my live stream. I didn't know were there until I went back and scrolled through them afterwards. Whoa. Okay. One thing I will say, guys, is I just got a message in Discord, and just reminder about the chat. Yes, I understand freedom of speech and freedom of expression, but the one thing we cannot, absolutely cannot put in the chat are threats of violence, even if they're a joke. So just remember that, because it, you know, if you enjoy the program, it's not going to be around if you do that. So. Bethany made a statement too, but for the defense. Whoa, swear word. Let's agree. The PCA was irrelevant and trash. And it's pretty easy to see where you would say that, since we hear in open court, the PCA is irrelevant. I really want to get to the info on this Stingray. Lana was the one who revealed that DM's room was on the second floor. I didn't know that. Yeah, she did some great coverage when the case was first starting out. I definitely watched her before I did true crime. Joey says, Swamp, BK is innocent. I'm just cautiously before I... Wait, all opinions. Heather says, all opinions shared are only the opinions shared by those authorizing them. I like that. You don't have to be sorry about anything. If I don't put the rules out, how would you know? You can't pick them up via osmosis. You're not a psychic. And then Jeff says, I wonder, to Twizzle, I wonder if there are any pics of BK at Wawa Way Park. Or did he search parks without security cameras while in jail and decided that park fit his narrative? I didn't watch it, but I saw you sent it to me, Dean. Dean sent me a short video. I haven't seen it, or I don't know if I should play it. Actually, I can watch it really quickly, and I'll play it for Dean if you guys want, but I would just have to, it's like I think it's only like a 30-second clip. I have to watch it first, though, before I display it. If you guys don't mind, I'll play the Stingray video for just like 2 minutes while I review it, and I'll play that. And I do want to finish up what I'm saying about the Stingray, too, because I do have a point, believe it or not. Wait, hold on. What did I say, Cyber Ninja? Make sure your comments, make sure you are setting is all comments and not top comments. Okay, maybe that's what I did wrong last night. Thank you for the tip, Cyber Ninja. there's so many possibilities, Jack Johnson. I'll just say, and I'm not contradicting anything that's been said on Stan. I'm just saying to ease our minds, when the trial comes, we really need to see that metadata. We need to see that the phone wasn't turned off. We need to see the phone was in airplane. There are several different ways that you can spoof your location or spoof your data on your phone. So he's saying wrap it in foil. I've never, I mean, I'm sure, you know, if you're saying it works, whatever, but I've never been able to see a successful test online where you can really wrap your phone and block all the signals. But they do make token pouches, or like you said, a fob pouch where the phone can be inserted in, and that will prevent the signal from going. What it doesn't prevent are the little devices within your cell phone from moving. So your magnetometers and your gyroscopes. So theoretically, if you have a start point and an end point, you might be able to track someone forensically with what's inside the phone, because it tells your acceleration and when you turn right and when you turn left, and how, you know, it tells your movement even if you don't have a signal. So that's the first thing. There are so many ways to spoof a phone. So we need to know in the forensics that this is accurate information. You can route your phone. You can into another phone address. You can use an app that spoofs the GPS location. You can pirate another phone and make your location look like it's in that phone. So there's so many things. And as a citizen who doesn't understand how the casting is so accurate, I would hope that on the stand, they're also going to explain to us why it is that they're not going by the metadata, or how people track, like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I should. So I'm going to read a couple comments. I'm going to finish reading these comments. I'm going to read you something on Wikipedia, and then I'm going to watch that video, and we'll end with Dean's video, if it's okay to watch. I haven't watched it yet. Hey, Chris, thank you so much. I appreciate you representing the City of Champions. Twiz says, Jeff H. won't need a pick. The cell data will track him. He was on camera at 4:48. I don't know if they have the footage yet, though. Twiz did make some interesting points about the phone coming online at 4:48. It makes it really difficult for that trip from, in the route that they've stated, to come from the house and be back up at his point when it comes online, in the amount of time from when the crime happened. It might have been why it was so difficult to nail a timeline in the first place, is when he did come back online. My views do represent the views of America. No more salty comments. But it is fun to hear the salty comments. Wasn't it cloudy and trying to snow that night? Heard it was overcast. I don't know if that, how greatly that affects the signal. If I don't think that's what you're saying. And then Twiz says, Ranger, cloudy maybe, but not trying to snow. That's the weather report I saw. Mrs. Potts, thank you for stopping in. Good morning. Well, actually, for you, it's late afternoon, so good afternoon. Jeff says to Texas Ranger, wasn't it called ice fog or overcast, going from memory of what I saw on the weather app for that awful morning? How did he gaze at the stars is what he's saying. I don't want to get into the stargazing debate right now. It's like a big rabbit hole. We'll never get done with stingrays if we do that. But I'll note it, Texas Ranger, and we'll get back to it. My ears are hurting. Oh, wait, from the seagulls? Cyber Ninja says, guys, Bryan knew computers and minds. He spent years studying both. In my opinion, he passed someone evil off along the way. It pissed someone evil off. I know what you're saying. along the way and plan this entire thing. You know, I could definitely, I am believe in innocence until proven guilty. And I believe that to uphold our society, we have to uphold that principle. But if we are going to explore other scenarios or other possibilities, the only thing that really got to me when I was thinking a lot about the DNA lately, because I keep getting a lot of people trying to have me talk about the IGG, because I obviously do like to passionately speak about our constitutional rights. And I think that people do find a constitutional issue with that. But if the IGG, if there's something off about it, the conclusion that keeps coming to my mind, and I'd love to be corrected by you guys in the chat, is how could that happen? I mean, it would have to be 3 different agencies that don't even necessarily like each other and a lab all conspiring together. That's what I have about, like, that's the only thing about the IGG being planted that, and I'd like to know, like, how. I should stop talking. The problem is this. They told you, and just in my defense about the weird things I'm saying, I was live streaming till 2 a.m. and I woke up before 5. So this problem is they told you exactly what kind of records they relied on in the PCA. It's not my fault that you don't know what they are. What the heck? Jeff, don't. And Texas Ranger says, Jeff, I think so. Yeah, this is another thing that somebody pointed out to me. And again, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But when we look back at the stargazing statement, and I'm not going to bring it up, the alibi declaration, he says okay, I'll bring it up. I don't want to explain it without showing you guys. But he does say he had a practice of going stargazing. Let's see, that was in April or end of March. I can't find it. But yeah, I'm not sure if they said he was stargazing or he had a habit of going stargazing. I don't know. I do also know that stargazing can mean, it's a generalized term. It could mean observing. It's just observing the night sky. I'm going to just read your comments and I'm not going to interject myself. Let's do that. Like I said in a second. Check out the Tris Regan channel on YouTube. Angel D says, my Google map shows exactly where I am in my house. What? Oh, now they're doing construction next door. Cast is actually quite inaccurate when not done properly. That's a fact. And then Texas Ranger says, that's part of the alibi, right? I couldn't see it when I just went there, but I would like to explore that. You know what, Texas Ranger, we have a members only live coming up tomorrow night. Let's write that on the agenda. So the alibi, I like that topic a lot. So that's going to be our opening topic for members only tomorrow night, because I just don't have time to pull up the info on it. I actually have sound bites on this. When I was banned from YouTube, I was posting on X when the alibi came out, and I put a ton of stuff on X. So I have a good presentation for the alibi when we do that. I have like 3 sound bites. I have screenshots. I have stuff from MPD. I don't know why my camera's moving so slow. And Jeff says, Texas Ranger, if I'd been at Wawa Park during the time of the murders, I'd surely be saying that and trying to capture any CCTV footage before it would have been deleted. The waiting on it is sus. Gosh, I didn't even think of that, Jeff. That is a good point. DNA says BK was too bright. BK was too bright going on what people say to do. People say, do you really believe he would have brought his phone and car. Come on, people. It didn't happen. So let's talk about this statement. Let's just go back to Cassie's podcast. I wish I wasn't in slow motion. That's like weird. Cassie's podcast that I just summarized for you guys in just a couple weeks ago, the one that Mikey had sent me, and DTS also did something on this podcast as well. She's like, when she heard about the murders, the first thing she says is, "This is crazy." She goes, "The first two things we learn about in our studies of criminal psychology in crime scenes, or in the class she was taking, was actually how to get away with murder." And she said the first thing that they teach you is don't bring your cell phone and have your alibi. Like, these are the two first things they teach them. So Dean is right. He's a bright person, and why would he have brought right in terms of this is a really good question. Why would he have brought his phone with him? Why would he not have an alibi that he had to fish up until later on? Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because he's from Southie. Well, I'm in Cape Cod, so I hope you're enjoying the heat today. I have the ocean effect. You might get some of that off the bay. I don't know. There's a really good movie from South Boston that I like. It's old, but it's kind of true crimey. And I bet you've seen it, Chris. It's called The Boondock Saints. So it was supposed to be like a big production, but the production company got into a fight with the movie theaters, and it ended up going almost straight to disc or DVD at the time. And it just exploded into like a cult classic, but it never made it to the big screen in the way that it should have. But it's such a good movie, The Boondock Saints. There's probably some lines in it that are a little bit, some of the language is questionable, but we'll just leave it there. Okay. I don't know what this word means, so I'm not going to put it up. Okay, Rebecca says, it took an awful long time for his team to provide his alibi, in my opinion. And Heather says, exactly why Ann Taylor says that any alibi of any alibi of Bryan's will be shown through the state's evidence at cross-examination of the state's witnesses. So they're actually going to provide the alibi with the evidence that they have in hand, it sounds like. Twizzle says, the Southerners don't understand how snow and ice work. It's pretty hilarious. I don't know who we're talking about. Who dropped a video? I don't know if it's someone I should be promoting. Oh, and then Big Mikey says Reynolds Wrap works like a pharaoh cage. Dean A says, wait and see. I have money that they have pics of BK's phone at the park. I want to see what the subject of your video is, Dean. The video Dean sent me this morning. Oh, okay. It's of them collecting evidence and what's in the bag. So we will watch that a little bit. That's not something I have to review first. That's not very controversial. All right, so I am going to finish this segment up, you guys, and I'm going to call it a wrap. But before then, I have to step away from my screen. So I am going to play you a little bit of this Stingray just to warm you up for when I get to the comments in Wikipedia. But I'm going to play this clip. I'm only going to step away from my computer for a second. And we'll start it right when he starts his video.
How the complex is set up. The complex is very crowded. It must be a horror story in the snow, because somebody did not figure this place out right. It looks like, you just you go around. There's only one entrance and exit for the complex. That's at the Taylor King Road. That's the only way you can get in or out. So it almost looks like to me that whoever was driving around, they said that was pulling back and forth, going around, pulling into the parking lot, might have been confused with the address, because the address is very confusing. They claim in the affidavit that that they can see the car pull in to the parking lot in front of 1122 King Road house. Well, there's no camera that would show that, because other than the ones that they're not claiming are up. I mean, there's only two cameras that they claim right now. It's the one on the house on the side, and there's the Linda Lane. So how did they know that this car pulled into the parking lot? The only way they could know that is if they had a camera in the water tower. And because there is an area by the water tower that is blurred. And I actually got that from Crime Circus. He was the one that put that up, and I had missed that, but he put that up. And if you go to that area and spin around and look, and this is what I think they're pointing to right now in this shot. If you go to that area and spin around, it's a direct shot of 1122 King Road. You look right in the front door. And before they did the tree removal, it was totally overgrown, totally obscured. Once they did the tree removal, you'll see that it looks right into it. It's very, very suspect.
Well, it's interesting, and I don't know why I never thought about the water tower, but it's even more interesting that I'll have to go back and see exactly how AT references that in the hearing, but I thought that was really fascinating when I heard you say that. It's pause it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So could you explain to my audience this is also something I found really interesting. I heard you saying, and I want to definitely take it to my audience, but I'm muted. Sorry about that. I just have to stop right here because this is so strange. I think we're talking about Boondock Saints. Rebecca says Swamp, that movie made it into another mass murder trial. I'm gonna have to Google this. I've never heard this before. And we all remember the photograph of the sneakers that were hanging on the power lines when we first learned about the crime at 1122 King Road. You actually tried to take a photograph of those sneakers when you went to Moscow. Could you please tell my audience what you found when you went to that location?
Well, I wanted to photograph the house, and I had waited and waited, and it came to like in November, and there was rumors that they were going to tear the house down. So I did some work. I wanted to photograph Timber Gulch in Eastern Oregon, and I didn't want to get in this area if it snowed, because I know I would have been, stranded in the middle of nowhere. So I went in like early November, and I wanted to see if the pole camera was up there, if I could see something. And there was something on the net. Somebody posted something and I cannot find it now, was that they were going to tighten the wires. They had posted that the wires were sagging, and they were going to tighten the wires. So I knew, that was it. So I had gone to the area. The sneakers were gone. This was November 7th, 2023. And I took a shot of the area where I believe that there was something that the pole camera or the Stingray was. And I did find two cables that were unattached. That's the only thing I found, because I believe whoever went there and took this sagging wire.
So Dairy Yukum says, most of the oddities in this case are simply speculation from YouTubers who are not familiar with criminal cases. I mean, that's a great opinion. Thank you for sharing your opinion. I would just be curious, but we don't see it. We all cover true crime. We don't necessarily see these oddities in other places. But yeah, I was saying last night, like the human mind, we like to have our thoughts come into our thoughts are supposed to tell a story. They're supposed to come into a full circle. And when there aren't those pieces there, we automatically process our minds to fill them in. But I guess maybe I got triggered by this because it's saying that we're not familiar with criminal cases. And because I do think that we should be able to understand what our fellow citizen is being charged with. And yeah, I just find I'm going to stop talking. I don't know why I'm know-it-all today. I was like this last night too. I'm in a weird mood.
Wires took the pole cam and the Stingray out, because they had already talked about knocking the house down. So I think they wanted to get that out of there. Speculation, but there were two cables, and that's in my film.
So I have to be fair. Then Rebecca says, Dairy, I agree. So don't listen to me.
Where you can see I did red circles around it where the cables are just hanging, just loosely. Like, so it could have been maybe somebody didn't get cable TV anymore, or it could have been that there was, a pole camera there and they took it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few great comments. I don't know if we want to get to a couple of them, just about some of the things that we were talking about, but I started as we were going along. So we were talking about when we were talking about the Stingrays could possibly be portable. I just started this one because Mike was saying like it has law enforcement cards, and I'm sorry.
Well, most of them I believe are. I think it's unusual that they're stationary. Cy Ray was talking about the ones that he was familiar with, and he was saying that these are vans that cost over $1 million.
Believe that. Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're all equivalent. But
we're gonna stop there because that kind of plays into the questions that are down below. During that live stream, we were talking about what they could have looked like. And so let's go down to the comments, and then we're going to go to Wikipedia, and then we're going to call it a day. So let's get back down to these. And there was a very passionate conversation about stingrays going on here. Oh, Cyber Ninja, you were the one who made the comment. Good thing you're here. Let me zoom in. That's cool. So the opening comment was, anyone, anywhere with a device, no matter, is trackable, period. It will prove or disprove this case, but will also track the real perps if they had a device on them, which I guarantee they did not. But one will crack and tell probe after doing this is someone else. And so it got a lot of replies. I'm not going to read all of them because people were really fighting in this one. But I wrote, thank you so much for watching and commenting. One of the one of the facts, it just blows me away, is that Stingray mentioned about the mobile Stingray, and then all the talk about the confidential informant, which we really don't know. Anyway, it is really interesting theory, and thank you for sharing it. So Stingray mentioned the reportable stingrays, and what we found out is their size and shape. So they're about the size of a briefcase, and they're more square. But yeah, you can put them on drones, you can put them in cars, you can put them anywhere. And the one that was allegedly being used. Yeah, because Sai said it was in a van. So greetings from Vancouver. Thank you for joining. And Inner Guru says, greetings from Vancouver Island. First time California. First time on a live. I love the work you do, Swan Pro. Thank you. Let's bear in mind surveillance in regard okay. Let's bear in mind surveillance. It regarded as a confidential informant in legal terms. Cheers. Yes, absolutely. And I know that this is the terminology most people I've spoke to who are involved in law say that it's very likely either the IGG, but then Michael Laudario brought this up too, the language of confidential informant that's used for the stingrays. Thank you for the comment. Video footage is not informant, but those named in the IGG tree and share DNA with the accused are considered informants. I don't think this is video footage, though. This is locational data, right? Or it could be intercepting a text message or information on your phone, right? But they can't say what it is. They have to say it's... Actually, you know what? It couldn't be information on the phone because they would have been able to just go ahead and grab that with a search warrant and not have to worry about it. Inner Guru, that's basically American. That's basically America, so we will allow it. You saying they didn't want him to stay in PA. All right, let's go on with the comments because there is a point to this. This is the one. Okay. So Jen from Criminal Confidential says, could that thing in the backseat of the Banfield cop car be some sort of Stingray device? And she just perked my interest when she said that because we have looked at that picture. So if you don't know what we're referencing, and Vivian answers it or gives an answer to it, which we'll read in a second. But if you haven't seen this photograph in the backseat of the car, the cop car at the Banfield, you can see this, what looks like a weapon. It looks like a pow-pow. But people were speculating, it was kind of an odd shape. So people were speculating, could it be a Stingray? I ended up, since this video, I ended up looking up what a portable Stingray looks like, what size it is, and it wouldn't fit with the gun. It looks about like a briefcase, a little bit thicker. But what I had heard from this comment is it's likely a non-lethal. Where did I read it? Okay, so Vivian had said, Idaho State Police and local police, county sheriffs in Idaho do not have Stingrays. They rely on federal government if they need a trap or trace pen register for full warrants. Moscow PD will definitely not be driving around with a Stingray in the backseat of their cars. And I mean, I don't know, but I will say I would love to know, and I kind of wish she'd show up in the chat, how we know Moscow PD wasn't using Stingrays, because we know it was mentioned on the stand. And when that live stream happened, I had a lot of people coming at me afterwards who said, well, Stingrays aren't allowed in Idaho. So I tried to validate that. And I'm going to be honest, I couldn't. I could not find that they were excluded. I've heard from other people that certain laws have been passed and only 23 of the states use stingrays. Again, not something I can validate. I tried to, I Googled a bunch of search terms, I couldn't find them. But what I did find is they appear to be a little bit more prevalent than I guess we really thought. Let me show you what Wikipedia says about stingrays. Where it is. Well, let me stop my camera. Okay, let me share my screen with you. So guys, I do, oh, this isn't the right kind of stingray, whoops. This is really weird. This is not what I was reading on Wikipedia. I don't know where that screen went. Let me look one more time, because I was searching which states required warrants for these. Here we go. I found it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to read you from the American Civil Liberties Act in Wikipedia when it comes to stingrays and cell phone interceptors. So it says the American Civil Liberties Union, otherwise known as the ACLU, confirmed that police have cell site simulators in Washington, Nevada, Arizona, Alaska, Missouri, New Mexico, Georgia, and Massachusetts. State police have cell site simulators in Oklahoma, Louisiana, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Maryland, and New York. The police use of cell site simulators is still potentially an over-presentation of the actual number of agencies. According to the most recent information published by the American Civil Liberties Union, 72 law enforcement agencies, 24 states own Stingray technology since 2017. Since 2014, these numbers have increased to 42 agencies in 17 states. So guys, that means that there's 40 states using them now. It's just we're not looking at the math right. Okay, the following federal agencies in the United States have validated their use of cell site simulators. So that's a really key sentence before I read the rest of this, is they just name the states, and then they named 17 additional states that do them. But the fact is that Wikipedia doesn't, or I guess the ACLU doesn't necessarily have it disclosed which states are using them. And the reason for that is because how these stingrays are used is anonymously. You have got to sign an NDA if you're going to use them. So we just don't have the information. What we do have on the Wikipedia page, which I won't read to you, but I will scroll down to just give you a sense of this, is we have on record dozens of cases that have been completely thrown out because Stingray technology was used to get their primary evidence against them, and it was suppressed and inadmissible in court. So as I was saying, I left off, the following agencies in the United States have validated their use of cell site simulators. 1 second. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Drug Enforcement Administration, U.S. Secret Service, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, U.S. Marshals, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosive, U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. National Guard, U.S. Special Command, and National Security Agency. In the 2010 to 2014 fiscal years, the Department of Justice has confirmed spending more than $71 million on cell site simulator technology, while the Department of Homeland Security confirmed spending more than $24 million on cell site simulator technology. Several court decisions have been issued of the legality of the use of the Stingray without a warrant. Some of these court rulings, a warrant, it's a typo, guys, is required, and others not required. And if I go down here, I hope I can find it. They list all the cases. Oh, I don't know what's up with this Wikipedia. This is not the Wikipedia page I was looking at earlier. But if you search this on Google and you pull up what Wikipedia says, you'll be able to find for yourself that there are just tons of cases of where evidence had to be suppressed because it was collected without a warrant through a Stingray. It's called a legal search and seizure. It's your constitutional right. It what separates our country from other countries. We have God-given inalienable rights, and one of them is you're not allowed to, a legal search and seizure is not allowed. So that's why it's so important. One of these cases that actually Pebbles brought up in one of my live streams, in one of these cases, they actually had somebody red-handed who was doing some sort of phone scam and stealing money. And they ended up having to drop all the charges because a Stingray was involved. Because the fact is you have to uphold the Constitution of the United States. You have to play fair. You have to play by the rules, because without doing that, it doesn't matter if we have killers walking the street. It's the deterioration of our society. So it's the most important thing. And I have gone way over, and now my husband's here to get paperwork for me, which I haven't printed out. So I am going to call it a day. And I really appreciate you guys showing up for this live stream. Thank you so much. And please visit the different people that we mentioned in this channel. Thank you to my mods for being here. I know it's been a long 12 hours, so I appreciate you coming to the live streams. And the comments are incredible. I have so many unread comments right now, and I just want you to know they don't fall on deaf ears. Like, one of the things I do is I do go back and I review the comments afterwards. I really appreciate what you have to say, and it makes me smarter to hear what your questions are, because it lets me know where the parts are that I do know and I don't know about this information. So with that said, thank you so much for showing up today. I hope you have a great day, and I'm going to play you an outro. And before I leave, I just want to remind all of you that everything we're doing in this podcast, let none of the legal arguments or, back and forth in chat mistake you. Everything, take down this comment. Everything that we're doing is just in the spirit of justice for the Idaho4.